But far more importantly than that, why aren't the Terrans there? The literal children of Quintus Prime, who he should have the strongest connection with. The ones he had a massive hand in creating. The ones actually bonded to the human Malto children and connected brain to brain. Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to be taking a look at Transformers EarthSpark Prime Time. That's Season 1, episode somewhere between 20 and 23, depending on which subscription you are shelling out for. And wow, just wow. This episode, it was something else. There are good episodes in this series. I would say that there's even at least one great episode in this series. Well written, well thought out, consistent with the rest of the story. And then there are bad episodes in this series. Really bad episodes. Poorly written, disjointed, broken Aesops. But Primetime? This wasn't either, because Primetime wasn't even an episode. Instead, it was 3/4 of an episode that had the potential to be a good, possibly even a great episode. And then one scene that was from a completely different episode, forced in so awkwardly that you can see the seams where the two different disjointed parts meet. And ultimately, the final message, the moral of the story at the end revealed by the final scene, is directly not just not the message of the first 3/4 of the episode, it's directly contrary to the overarching message of the first 3/4 of the episode, and I'm talking glaringly, painfully, morally opposite of the rest of the episode. Anyway, this is where I jump into the spoilerly section, but to really get into how terrible this junk drawer of a supposed episode was, we need to talk about story structure first. The vast majority of episodes of any cartoon, of all cartoons, are presented in either 3 or 4 acts. Act 1 is the setup where the situation is introduced. Think about how most episodes open with the Malto family hanging out and something about their life is explained. You're setting up the story. Act 2 is the confrontation, where the main character of the show is introduced. Think of the episode where Nightshade cyber-stalked the dead author. The conflict section was Nightshade trying to find the author to solve the problem of feeling less than perfectly a part of the family than the others. Then you have Act 3 being the resolution, where the conflict is resolved. Nightshade rescues Mom and Pop Malto and learns that family is worth working for, and perhaps feelings can't be entirely relied upon. Now, a more complex, which is usually but not always a better episode, will have the 4th act, the complication. All of the Glitch Tech episodes have a 4-act structure. Glitch Tech was the Nick Netflix show done by Dan Milano. And anyway, this 4th act pops into reality either before or after Act 2 and is a complication to the story. Running with the same example from Transformers EarthSpark, Nightshade wanted to find the author, but the author was dead, and all that was there was a spider-themed scientist. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. In a specific order. That is how a story goes. Well, that is how the episodic format of an ancient Greek play to a modern episode goes. It's a really, really good structure. It works really well. That's why it's stuck around for thousands of years. But the thing is, no matter if you are using the 3 or 4 act template for your episode or your play, no matter if the complication comes before or after the 2nd act, all of the acts need to center around the same core conflict. If you bring in another conflict, a completely different, unconnected conflict, you're starting a new episode, essentially. And the resolution, what was supposed to be the 4th act to this Transformers EarthSpark episode, Primetime, is a resolution to a completely different conflict than the one we see in the rest of the episodes. It is the resolution to a conflict that is completely contrary to the main character's established behavior. It is completely contradictory to not just the theme of this episode, but the theme of the entire show, really. But I really can't go any further without giving spoilers, so here's your warning. To give you some time to click away from the spoilers, you can go click the links below the video to get yourself a copy of any of my books. There are absurdist comedies and tragic dramas. Go so shoo-shoo, click the links. You have been warned, we're about to get into spoilers. On the surface level, the basic plot of this is It's a Wonderful Life episode. Any long-running series that has any sort of fantastic or science fiction element will have one. Even serious cop dramas will play with the idea with, say, like an It's Just a Dream episode. Bones famously did this. The concept is that one character is granted the choice to undo or redo the inciting incident of the series, and they see how the story plays out without them. The classic version of this is the black and white Christmas special, It's a Wonderful Life. Every time Starscream screeches, the Seeker gets his wings. You know the deal. So Mo is our point of view character for this. Quintus Prime, sketchy creep that he is. Anyway, he grants her a vision of sorts, showing what would have happened if she had not actively participated in the birth of her Terran siblings. Then he transports her entire human family in spirit to his ship in Earth orbit, where she has a duel with Mandroid before Robbie is healed and they return to Earth, where their bodies didn't move. Kind of odd, but okay, so not a terrible premise for an episode. It was all a dream, or it was all in brain space. Their spirits left their bodies. It set at a good point in the story. Overall, it was just all wrong on a fundamental level in execution. Let's take a look at the two main problems. The conflict and the resolution were two completely different things. This is like trying to fit the wrong lid on a Tupperware container. The two parts of the episode just don't go together, and the supposed resolution shows a profound misunderstanding of Mo's character, a profound misunderstanding of the family dynamics, and a profound misunderstanding of what motivations were depicted at the start of this episode. Problem 2 was that the very premise of the fourth act directly contradicts not only the main point of the episode, but the overarching theme of the show, family togetherness despite difference. Okay, the big problem first. What was the conflict and what was the resolution? Now, the conflict that was set up promised big themes, deep themes for a children's show. In fact, it promised what is arguably one of the deepest, most meaningful themes that a children's show can manage. That is, the conflict was, life with all of its warts and pain is worth living, even with the suffering inherent in it. The conflict was that Mo was suffering, and suffering horrible. This was not a casual childhood, oh, I'm not popular in school kind of suffering. Robbie, her brother, is dying in pain and physical suffering. He is cut off from a bond that they have shared for months. Mo is suddenly alone in a way she has never been before. And because Mo has an inflated ego, which is a very natural in a girl of above average intelligence, good health, and with a first world lifestyle, Mo blames herself for Robbie's suffering. Her actions, she thinks that she was the primary cause of this. And so she runs away from her family to deal with emotions that are just too big to share. And thinking she is alone, she screams out that she wishes she had never touched the Ember Stone. In context, it is a perfectly reasonable explanation. That is how someone in that situation would react. But Thrash hears her and is deeply, profoundly hurt, because that is the same thing as saying she wishes he was never born. That is a child, a very young child emotionally, being told by their parent it would be better if you didn't exist. Or at the very least, being told that you're a millstone around my neck, I wish you weren't a part of my life. And this is what Thrash experiences. That Mo screaming that she wishes she had never shared her bonds with these bonds of family with him. Now, I have a lot more to say about this. There is absolutely going to be a part 2 that's just as long as this one, but in order for this video not to get too long, we're going to cut this here, so that we'll call this part 1. But what do you think, my wonderful viewers? Do you agree with me that that was the conflict that was set up? And what do you think was the resolution that was given for the Transformers EarthSpark episode Primetime? And do you agree with me that this wasn't a bad episode? It just wasn't an episode. Hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment below telling me what you think. I'd really love to hear it. And peace out, my wonderful viewers. Do you love awesome science fiction books? Of course you do. If you check out the links below the video, you can get yourself a copy of Comedy or Tragedy. Humans Are Weird. I have the data. Humans Are Weird. We took a vote, and Humans Are Weird, Let's Work It Out are the 3 comedy short story books available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo by Rakuten, Google Play. There's even some copies at Powell's Books, the famous used bookstore in Portland, Oregon. Dying Embers, dragons, aliens, and things that go boom in the night, and soon Flying Sparks, more dramatic traditional science fiction novels, are also available at Amazon. Flying Sparks is still on the pre-order page. If you want a copy, you can email me by contacting the website to pre-order yourself a copy. It's still being edited. So check out the links below the video to get yourself a copy of some wonderful science fiction.